Alrighty then, it's time for a very special game. Which one? Yeah, I was basically forced to double jungle this game. You can easily tell who was supposed to be the support in this game. So yay, he's gonna start off on the red side, and I'm gonna start off on my red side. Enemy red side, my red side. I also didn't get a leash because apparently they're a dual queue, and they're mad at me. But whatever. So I actually am surprised that he was able to get away with stealing the enemy red buff, and he got off scot-free. And then the enemy Sejuani, I guess really pissed off at this whole situation, decides to pick a fight with him, and she almost gets him down, except she should have realized that the rest of us were probably going to be around there. And Kayn kind of just killed her by herself. I did give him Bloodlust, so he did get an assist from that, but he pretty much would have killed her. So this Sejuani basically dumpstered her own early game. I go off the gank, Twisted Fate, just punching him. I'm kind of basically feeling it out. Our best bet right now is for me to be the one roaming and causing harassment, maybe, and for the Kayn just to farm. At this point, though, I was admittedly very pissed off because, come on, it's kind of silly. But the enemy Sejuani seems to be completely unable to deal with this. Kayn and I catch her, just chase her down and force her away. Essentially, yeah, just forcing her out of her jungle. We shoo away Bard, and we're just controlling the dragon here. They do pile on to us right now, and we easily get the dragon because double smite and the consume. But I get brought down for this, so that's unfortunate. Still, though, look at the CS difference already, right? Aside from Kayn having just a little bit less, we're kind of crushing her at this point. I mean, the Kayn has 2 kills, and it's more. He would have had more CS if I didn't sort of control mine, and he wasn't so focused on having to steal the enemy jungles. But whatever. The enemy bottom lane is also doing something extremely stupid. So in a situation like this, yes, pushing a lot and trying to snowball the early game is a thing you could do, or you could try to starve out the enemy AD carry, which is not what they're doing. Because look at the CS difference right now. It's only 10 for bottom lane. That's kind of very minimal, right? Especially consideration is a 2v1. And then I die. Then Mari kills the my Ryze teammate. So I'm getting a little too aggressive there, but getting Ryze as big as possible is going to be something that can help lead us to a huge victory. But yeah, thanks to Bard's roaming, he essentially left Twitch to die, which they kind of forgot. The Kai'Sa has a level advantage because she's alone, and she will kill whoever is against her. So, the enemy team does not know how to deal with this whole double jungle crap that's going on. Except, of course, if a jungler gets a little bit too aggressive and kind of feeds a kill. And I'm not making fun of him in that case because I already did it twice. It's just saying that we're trying to be extremely brave and extremely forward with this game, because otherwise, if our early game goes bad, then more than just a few, basically the entire team might collapse. Anyway, same thing here. They get very aggressive, and I just don't understand why they haven't realized that, you should probably not push this lane so much. Maybe starve her out or something. Because at this point, like I pointed out earlier, the CS difference is starting to become pretty considerable, and considerable also in the sense in that the bottom lane doesn't have a gross lead as it should possibly have. And once again, though, that Twitch and the Bard are severely overestimating themselves. Just because when they get by themselves, that it doesn't mean they can't be picked off by even just a Kai'Sa. But yeah, the enemy team at this point is also getting really desperate in diving and whatnot, and they keep splitting up, or at least bottom lane keeps splitting up. So you saw that we easily killed a Bard, and we took a tower, and then the rest of my teammates are able to hound them again. Here, Kayn is in fact going to get himself a double kill, because once again, they didn't handle this properly. And at this point, it doesn't matter how botched up our early game start was with our having a double jungle, they pretty much threw it. So now we effectively have 5 solo lanes, so to speak. I mean, if it was just a single jungler getting all this farm and kills, yeah, that would have been a lot better, or a lot stronger. But you get what I mean, right? We're all of us, except probably me, because I'm new and supporting, are a massive giga threat. The kill spread for my team is incredible. We have an assassin who can one-shot somebody with 7 kills. The AD carry, the goddamn AD carry, who was forced to 2v1, has 7 kills. All right. the goal difference between the Sejuani and my team's junglers, all of us, I mean, me as Nunu and the Kayn have more CS and levels than the enemy jungler. Now that shit is sad. At this point, the Kayn and I are no longer at each other's throats about I wanted a jungle. We're like, all right, we're kind of just working together because this just happens to work out in our favor. So yeah, we're just controlling everything. We're rotating between, okay, your turn to gank and your turn to do something and my turn to control. So you've got a invasive farming jungler in Kayn, a control jungler in Nunu, and that's just like a dual combo of pain and misery for someone as, flimsy as Sejuani when it comes to jungling, especially if you don't actually have homies to back you up. But yeah, at this point, my team and I can just sort of blitz into them and, run them through and kill them. Now you're asking, Stonewall, this game is going so well. How come it's a long video? Well, my friend, it's because it's solo queue. And if you can get dumb shit like double jungle, you can get shit like double jungle, having a massive lead and then throwing it. But whatever. My Ryze teammate literally admitted to me that he used his ultimate to toss me into the enemy, just in case, to bait out to see if there were more people there. So essentially, he was willing to sacrifice me just for to act as some kind of ward. That's not good for Nunu. Anyways, kill spread is 21-10. The gold lead is pretty considerable, which is again really hilarious. And when it comes to team fights, we're probably gonna just kind of stomp them. Also, though, I also wanted to point out one thing: Righteous Glory on Nunu is a very odd item to buy because when you use it, it doesn't exactly make sense on him since he doesn't have any hard initiation or CC other than Snowball. So, why would I buy that, right? Well, my team isn't very mobile. I mean, Kayn can go through walls, but you get what I mean. Kai'Sa can use her W, but I think it's her W. She can close the gap every now and then, but you get what I mean. Essentially, I needed to give my teammates a speed boost, plus hopefully slow them down with the Righteous Glory, slow down the Darius before he smashes face and that kind of stuff. That's why I'm also going to be looking to purchase Randuin Zoven. Essentially, I need to create this sort of fat-ass wall between me and my teammates. When Sejuani initiates, I would hope to at least divide the rest of them and make sure my Ryze teammate and the Kai'Sa survive as long as possible, because they're going to easily carry the entire game. And hopefully the Kayn picks off the Twitch or somebody important before, the thing becomes a full-blown fight. But yeah, normally on Nunu, you can build anything you'd want. In some cases, let's say I was the only jungler, I might consider just buying Banner of Command and Caesar Rod Portal and just become a pusher. Sometimes I go with the Frozen Heart against, attack speed champions. But that's kind of the thing about jungle supports, right? You can just build anything and it'll work out. In this case, I'm not too sure of how effective it ends up being, but I felt it at the moment having as many slows as possible was a big deal. Anyways, my team and I go for Baron, and yeah, two junglers, and one of them being Nunu with Consume, and we had the Baron stolen. I mean, Bard's ultimate got us, but shit, man. Whatever, it's solo queue, right? Anyways, Kayn goes in, doesn't actually get anything. I go in the flank thinking something was going to happen, and I get shot down, so I easily get picked off. Sad day for everybody. We lost Baron, and we're kind of not able to push because my team comp has garbage level sieging. We have pretty good wave clear with Ryze, but our siege potential is just awful. So with them having Baron buff, it just kind of gridlocks us, and we're not able to push beyond that. So yeah. Either way, like I said, building Randuin Zoven. At first I was thinking Dead Man's Play, but then I realized that would be stupid. So, I altered my build. Also, one thing I do regret not having done super early in this game, but of course I'm making up for it now, I didn't buy red control wards. Because again, at the very beginning of the game, I was just kind of assuming it would have been a quick loss, but seeing how quickly it turned around, I started playing way more serious. But yeah, red trinket, just clearing everything. We're trying to prepare for a flank because at this point the enemy team can't do anything. Sans probably, Darius if he gets out of hand or if nobody controls him. But again, that's why I built a lot of things so we can just deal with it and make sure he's, put in place. He actually survived that thanks to his Q. Sad day. And yeah. But I love that. Ryze's ultimate drags us and the minions to the tower. So you know, at least gives us some buffer from that. Anyways, Ryze gets caught and gets destroyed, and thus ends our push. We probably overstayed our welcome by a ton. So yeah, at this point, since my team can't really push, it becomes a game of waiting for the Baron. Though again, once again, in retrospect, I probably should consider just buying Banner of Command or a Zz'Rot Portal, just to sort of add some pushing power to a lane while we start roaming around. Again, that's what those items exist for. And the enemy Sejuani, God bless her soul, she's really trying, even though her score is abysmal, and she's basically been controlled the entire match. Now we have 4 dragons, 2 of them being mountains, which I don't feel is completely useful anymore because, again, we're not really able to push towers without having killed several of them. And the epic monster damage is just kind of weird because we're 2 jugglers with Smite. Anyways, my team gets effectively divided by the Bard's ultimate and a Sejuani ultimate on me. And then, you know, the enemy team buys themselves some time to scatter about, but eventually they get caught up, and, you know, I think only one of them dies and one of my teammates dies. Yeah. Anyways, like I said, essentially put, these team fights are becoming very sloppy, and we're letting the enemy team recover. And at this point, you know, my team composition is actually pretty weak. If we don't, you know, focus our efforts on something, because you know, some of my, yeah, by the way, that was super embarrassing, flashing into the fucking Bard ultimate. The team requires a lot of setup in order, or not a lot of setup, but it requires some setup to be super effective, or else just somebody important dies and we lose a lot of damage potential. So at this point, the enemy team is actually pretty good, can actually contend us. But whatever, we got Baron super easily the second they respawn, so now we're able to push back once more. However, if you're astute, you'll be like, Stonewall, there's 5 minutes left in this video. What else can possibly go wrong? Well, yeah, it's subtle here. Anyways, yeah, the next item I'm building is Gargoyle Stoneplate, mostly just to get on top of Darius, like I said, the slows and everything, and make sure he can't kill anybody, and if he decides to focus on me, just sort of cut his damage down quite a bit. Again, my entire goal this game is to put Bloodlust on somebody important, namely the Twitch, and then just become a huge distraction, pin down the Darius, or use my ultimate really effectively on the entire team. But yeah, again, the only threat, like I've been saying, the only actual threat the enemy team has at this point is Darius, and Twitch should effectively be blown up every single time he shows his face. So that's what at least I'm hoping for in this game, or was hoping for when I was playing it. I mean. Anyways, Twitch goes in with his face, but he has got his ultimate, so the distance, he can easily do it safely. But it's not that not effective. Then my Kai'Sa teammate gets caught because he's trying to split push by himself. Kayn is going to get caught as well, but he has a way more survivability than the rest of the team, and then he finally gets killed. But yeah, quite a dilemma here we have where everybody is kind of doing their own thing at this point. And seeing as I'm doing the best I can do to support anybody, just sort of bloodlust and stay away, because, you know, yeah. Still, though, we're just kind of waiting on the next dragon, and there in that situation there was kind of bad. And the replay was kind of bad because it had that whole little skip thing going on, but essentially Gangplank got caught, and I tried to save him, and I died for it, and it's kind of bad, because now the enemy team gets to push. And here, Kai'Sa gets nailed by 2 good stuns, and gets immediately destroyed. And that, as a result, once again, means the enemy team gets to really push forward. Kayn giving up his life to try to defend the tower, but of course it was to no avail. And now they're getting straight into the inhibitor. Ryze gets caught, but not enough damage to actually bring him down. Tufstafay gets caught. I get the snowball on him. It's just, you know, avoid him. I use my ultimate, and then Sejuani decides to, you know, run into it to die. But it was not enough to save our poor Gangplank. But here, Ryze is starting to show just how strong he can be if he uses his abilities properly. But unfortunately, I still end up, you know, dying, so ugh. What my team needs at this point is a very good flank to kill the Twitch and for Ryze to control and destroy everyone, alongside me, of course. But thankfully, the enemy team is not paying too much attention to the map, so Bard gets killed. The rest of my team is trying to collapse. In comes Ryze, who just annihilates the Sejuani. There's quite a bit of respectable damage to the Darius, who's just kind of eating all the damage. In comes the rest of the homies, and they can't really do very much at this point. I mean, they do kill the Kayn who went super ham, but the rest of my team is able to just sort of collapse on them and periodically finish them off. The amount of damage Gangplank can do now if he actually gets on top of someone is ridiculous. I mean, in this game, in this game specifically. Look at the kill spread for my team, though. It is funny. I have only one kill, which is technically one of the best things you can have as a support jungler, especially if your assists are really high. And Gangplank mostly only really needs farm. But look at their farm on my team, too. Ryze having almost 350, well now 353, and the Kai'Sa 237. And again, remember, she was by her lonesome. Baron respawns and we easily destroy that, and we gear up to, make the winning game here, or winning play. Bard is by himself, just trying to be all sorts of brave. We give this kind of little haphazard chase with Gangplank ultimate, but, to no real avail here. He just goes on his magical journey away, and then chooses an explosive plan. And then we get super aggressive and catch him anyways, because Ryze is like a serial killer. Twisted Fate teleports to my homies and has to use his flash and does actually get the Kai'Sa, but at this point, it might not have been worth it because the enemy team is, the rest of his homies aren't there to save his life. But either way, here's what I mean. Darius goes on me because I'm the only target and I'm just controlling him and slowing him down. I deal no damage. I'm mostly just annoying at this point. But again, I'm trying to control him, and as soon as I get a lot of stacks on me, I activate the stone plate, and I use my ultimate to do quite a bit of damage. Not a considerable amount of damage, but whatever. I control them long enough for the actual damage heroes to come forth and slap them in the face. But yeah, at this point, the enemy team's whole defense has kind of collapsed. I feel so bad for the Sejuani, because her ultimates were pretty good. So she knew what she was doing. It just happened to be that nobody bothered to really protect her in the early game because people were selfish to use their starting ward on something, even though it will respawn at the time they spend a few times in the lane. So yeah, I feel bad for her. She probably would have been a lot better player if it wasn't for these really ridiculous circumstances. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the double jungle. Even though it was forced upon me, the end result can't be mistaken. We won, and it feels good. And if you liked this video, remember to give it a like. And if you aren't subscribed, make sure to subscribe. And if you are subscribed, make sure to hit the little bell up there somewhere so you actually get notifications to my videos, because YouTube and stuff.